So before I start the actual video, I want to show you my end result, because I absolutely hate it when people don't show the end result of a long video in the beginning. So, well, here we go. Let's just fly through the wall and see what's going on here. We have some very nice, in my opinion, very nice cherry blossoms going on. I really like the result I had here. Let's just fly in a bit here and see what's going on. Now we can see I actually have 3 individual leaves here, which are like followed by some stylized wind thingies, I'd say. And yeah, I think the result is kind of nice. The way they fall is pretty realistic, I think. I kind of tried to simulate it as realistic as possible with a new Niagara system here. And yeah, here we have some gold rays or whatever it's called. Yeah, and let's go over here. I also want to show you, we have like an additional glow where more light hits. We have like a subsurface scattering bloomish kind of thing going on. Also a stylized thing, I guess. And yeah, if we go closer to one of those here, sometimes you still see the wind particles behind. I still have to kill them when they are like touching the ground or whatever. I'll figure that out eventually. Now, if we take a closer look here at those particles in the ground, let's see where we can see it. Sometimes you can even see that this one here, right? This one here, or this one here, you can see how they are cell shaded. So each individual leaf here has its cell shader going on, as well as an outline. It's pretty dark in here, that's why you cannot see the outline, but it makes a big difference. If you take a close look, you can see the outline on the falling leaves actually. And if I would turn it off, it would make a, it would make a pretty big difference actually. I can fly out here, my leaves. And over here I have an individual leaf, and you can see that we have like this glow going on. If I go out of full screen here really quick, if I now move the light, you can see how we have like this subsurface scattering effect going on below when the light hits it from the front, as well as some cell shading. And yeah, that is my first try at the Niagara particle system, and I think it turned out pretty well. And I'm kind of surprised that I actually got my whole cell shader working on the particles as well. Yeah, I'm pretty happy about it, to be honest. Maybe at some point I'm going to make a full tree and spawn those on the tree, but we'll see about it. No, I'm happy. I just wanted to tell you that I just released, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, I released a new course about Blender nodes, or nodes in general, more like nodes in general, and how to use them in Blender, but also how to convert them to Unreal. Because if you understand nodes in one program, it's easy to convert them or use them in another program. I just wanted to be aware of that I released a new course on that. Link in the description if you're interested. There's also a detailed explanation video in the beginning you can watch in case you're interested. In the course we painted one of these masks here. You will get one of those masks, and we painted them, put them into Unreal 4, explained a lot of nodes, and yeah, you will also have like a cell shader in Unreal 4 and Blender. And we made a thing here. Now the light is kind of in the way, which is stupid. Let me turn it off here. Yeah, we also made like these fire thingies here. I guess I could make like some simple particles for this as well. But yeah, that's another thing we made in that course, in case you're interested. All right, so I have a new setup a little bit. Using my phone right now for recording, so I should have better image quality. And I think with all this hype around Unreal Engine 5, I should finally do some proper tutorials about Blender to Unreal. We're going to build something in Blender and then putting it into Unreal. And yeah, I'm just going to record an idea I had, and if you want, you can follow along. Okay, so just switch here over for now. We'll see about it. So for those of you who never opened Blender and want to try it, you can go to blender.org and just press download. You don't have to sign in or anything. It's just going to download it and you can open Blender. So let's just close this away, or just away here. Yeah, once you open Blender, I'm not going to cover all the shortcuts, so I will probably make another video where I in detail explain all the shortcuts and whatever. But if you want to follow, it's probably important to go to Edit Preferences And here under, where is it? Under key map, there's a pie menu, tab for pie menu. That's a thing I activated. And under add-ons, if you go to add-ons here, type in pie, there's another pie menu, check that, and down here I deactivated Q, because on Q are my quick favorites. Thing where you can just right click on and put things on for quick use. All right, so either way, and I'm going to turn on my shortkeys here. So you can see my shortkeys in the bottom left. You can't because I'm in the bottom left. So okay, that's stupid. I do that. Well, let's just do it like that. You don't always have to see me. All right. Either way, in the bottom left, you can see my shortkeys. So I'm going to just select everything, X delete. And I wanted to do a particle system where I can, which I will put in Unreal 4 later. So let's just do this really quick. I'm going to Shift A and create a plane here. Plane should probably lay flat on the ground. I'm going with numpad 7 into the top view. And first of all, I looked up some images of what I want to do. I actually want to do some cherry blossoms, particle system for cherry blossom. So I'm going to build one cherry blossom here. Putting this on my right screen so I can see it. I have some more images here, but yeah, let's start with that. Important here is I'm going to drag open a new window and go to the UV editor. Important is when we go in edit mode here, that the UV is properly laid out over the whole UV here. So I'm going to work from here without changing the UV. I'm going to start with Control R and I'm putting a line in here. And I'm going to slowly move those things around, create my cherry blossom. I think in the bottom it should probably be like really thin or something. Like that, maybe drag this one a little bit out. Like that. And this one should probably be a bit in. And we can make another Control R here. Move this a bit out. A bit out. Alright. That should do it. Now I go to the Modifier tab and put on a, where is it? A subdivision surface. Something like that eventually. And I'm going to Control R here in the middle. And SX, scale this a bit up. Cherry blossoms kind of look like a heart. Not really, but kinda. So I guess I'll make another one here. Drag this a bit down. Just deform it a little bit. Nothing too special here. Something like that. Should eventually do it for a cherry blossom. I think that's actually about it. Maybe we can deform it a bit on the height. So probably don't want to deform, but maybe I want to deform those a little bit. I'm going to grab the middle one here. Press O here for the proportional editing. And if I now press G, I have like a circle. And everything in the circle will move with it. And if I scroll, the circle will get smaller. So I'm pressing G. Make sure the circle isn't too big. Press Z, so I lock it on the Z axis. And with Shift, I'm carefully moving this a bit down. Make the circle maybe a bit bigger here. Bringing this a bit down here. With a bit of a deformation. Okay, and I think I'm going to turn this off again by pressing O. And I can probably grab this edge here. You have to select those two here, holding Shift, and selecting both. And grab this and move it a bit up. Put this a bit down. A bit up. That, same over here. A bit up. Down. A bit up. Okay. Maybe we can move this a bit further. Alright. Seems about right, I think. Now I'm going to apply the subdivision here and go back into edit mode. Now we can see we have quite a lot of vertices in here and I don't actually want that many. So I'm going to Alt right click that, X dissolve edge, and I'm just seeing, okay, where can I get rid of maybe a few at least. Just a few. Because in the end with a particle system it will multiply quite a lot. Maybe here we should have another one. Round this a little bit out. Because in the end, it's going to be very small. You're rarely ever going to see like that close up. And I'm going to press Z, shade smooth. Now it's shaded smooth. And now I'm going to drag another window open here. Go to the fader editor, to the material tab, apply a new material. I'm going to delete this one here. Actually not both, just the left one. Shift A, UV. And we're going to use the UV, this one here. Come on. This one here to create a texture. Well, not really a texture. We're going to use the UV information to create a color on our object here. And since we're not going to use a texture, it's going to be always very sharp, even if you're up very close. So just in here the UV. And I'm going to Shift A, search, separate RGB. And I'm going to plug it in here. And with that, we can separate the R, G, and B, the X, Y, and Z from our UV. Since our UV doesn't have a height, not going to have a set or a blue. We only have left and right and up and down, which is R and G. We're only two-dimensional here. And we're going to use R here. Let's take a look, going to rendered. And we're going to see, okay, we have a nice ramp here. Maybe we want actually green. Yeah, green is up and down. That's pretty nice. Now we can Shift A, math, vector math in this case. And we're going to use a multiply, and Shift A, RGB. Plug this in here. So there we should be able to give it like a color. There we go, already pretty close. Could just use a invert here. In here. And use the same setup again. Plug this in here. Maybe like that. And we want a white here actually. Let's make this white. One is white. That's about right. And let's see. We want to combine those, so we have to add. Let's put an add in here. Boop and boop, and now it's the wrong way around. Why is that? Yeah, all right. So to be able to modify that, we need a Shift A, math, and we need a normal math for that, not a vector math. And we're going to plug this in here, plug this in here, and in here. Now it's looking a bit weird because we're adding 0.5. Let's make this a 0. And we're going to make another, copy this, Shift D, put it to multiply, plug this in here, and plug this in here, and this in here. All right. Now we need to change the multiply to 1, because if you're multiplying with 0, it's going to be 0. Now we're back to default. If we make this sharper here, we can make it actually very sharp. If we want to move it, we can use the add, and we're moving it. Let's put this back to 0 and 1. Well, you can see we have like a problem here. It's adding red or something. That is because we're multiplying it with a very high number, so these numbers are not going to work out in the end. We need to Shift A, use a clamp, and clamp the colors between 0 and 1. So they don't go over 0 and 1. So there we go. I don't want it to be very sharp actually, I just keep a 1 in here. I thought this might make sense. Bring this a bit down. Could make it softer by reducing the number even. Of course we could also just use a color ramp here, but it's the proper way of doing it. Usually the inside is still a strong color while the outside is white. So this is the wrong way around. All I need to do is swap the colors here. And make this one white. Oh, maybe move this a bit again. Something like that. Should give us a rather okayish cherry blossom. I think that's actually about right. So we have to get the right scale actually, because a cherry blossom isn't definitely 2 meters bright and long. So, well, I don't find much about it. It doesn't matter too much. Just make it smaller, I guess. How big would it be? Like 5-6 centimeter. You can, by the way, switch your units over here in this tab here, units, metric, and length is meter. Let's change this to centimeter. 5 centimeter, that's a bit big, I guess. Let's make it like, scale it down to like maximum 3 centimeter or something like that. I think that's about right. And then Control A, rotation scale. For that we apply the rotation to scale, and I think that's a pretty decent looking cherry blossom. And I'm going to make another one, plain. Get this down about the same size, move it over. Let's apply this stuff right away, Control A, rotation scale. And I want to make you a bit thinner. And you should be very thin. Another one here, make this a bit big butt-like here and down. Put another one in here just to make it a bit more roundish. I'm going to make a cut, Control R here. And actually another one here. Twice, move it along the edge. Press V to cut it open. And I want you to be rather thin. that maybe a bit over here. Make you maybe a bit smaller. Okay, now I can probably put one in here. And I'm going to drag those here a bit down. As well as you, except this one here. Down. Alright. Seems about something I'd like. Maybe give it some less symmetry by changing that one here. A bit out to make it a bit more roundish. Alright. And I think we can get one further in here. Alright, if you want to copy the material, just select the right one, then the left one, Control L materials, and there we go. Also Z shade smooth. Right, I think not looking too shabby. Some more deformation. Middle one here probably can be a bit further down. That, and move this a little bit up and this a bit up. I think we can rotate the edge here, except, well, maybe this one too. Turn on proportional editing, RY, roll down, make this circle a bit smaller. That and RY. Seems actually about right. Just check on subdivision here. Not looking too bad. Yeah, kind of like that. Looking okay for cherry blossom, I guess. You don't have to go into great detail here. Let's apply the subdivision. Let's take a look. Okay, there are quite a lot of them. I'm going to just grab each second one here, kind of like that. I want to remove a few. One here eventually. This one here eventually. You really shouldn't have too many there. But those help make it a bit more roundish. I mean, game engines these days can keep up with a lot of vertices, so I think rather fine. We could probably make another one with a greater deformation, so let's make one more. So I'm just going to a bit more rough here. I'm going to drag this out a bit, avoid some deformation. So I think that's fine. Well, I really don't like this cell shader here, so let's just take a look at that. Yeah, I think that's about right. So now let's save this file. Control S, save as, and so now to download Unreal, you have to download the Epic Games launcher. Just Google Epic Games, and I don't really need to explain to you how to install a game launcher. I think you can figure out that yourself. You obviously have to sign in for the Epic launcher, and then here you can click on Unreal Engine, library, and there you can then install your game engine, or up here or something. Important there is that you install 4.25 because we're going to use the new Niagara particle system. So, well, if you didn't install it yet, do that and press start. It might take a while, and you're going to end up with, let's do this together here really quick. And yeah, you probably end up with something like that. You can just, actually it's a new launcher, so I'm kind of a little bit lost here myself. So you press on games, next, and then you go to blank, next, and well, blueprint, max quality. Well, let's keep this disabled. Desktop console with starter content. Then you can just click here and search where you want to save it, and type in the project name. You should probably type it in or something and create project. It might take a few seconds and then you're good to go and something will open. Now, I'm going to work in this file here, well, because I already have this file and I'm going to place my stuff in there. It doesn't matter much for you. You're just going to end up with an empty project where you can delete stuff. Yeah, or just keep it. Probably going to make a proper tutorial on how to use Unreal Engine, but this is just a quick idea I wanted to put in here. So I'm going to make a new folder here, right click, new folder. Well, I actually have one already, Niagara test. I'm going to work in here. And we're going to right click and FX and Niagara system. Here you can choose where you get your stuff from. I'm just going to new system from selected emitter, I guess, or new system from template. Yeah, I'm going to choose a new system from a selected emitter. It will be just empty then, and we're going to select empty. We have to press on the plus to add an emitter where the particles spawn from, and we click finish. And now we have this in here, and I'm calling this cherry underscore blossom. For those who don't know, you always have to type underscores. You cannot have spaces in the names here. So I can double click that and select that here. And here we have our particle system going on. So I know this looks very scary. And it also looks very scary to me, trust me. I literally did my first particle system yesterday and I'm still kind of confused, but we're going to make something simple here, I hope. And let's see if we can figure it out together, I guess. So first of all, if we take a look at this node here and all of these options at the right side, these options at the right side are in here. So if you select this, you see I'm selecting something else or deselecting it. These options disappear. I select it and all those options are inside here. You can also just select one thing and it's only going to show the emitter settings. You see emitter settings, but if I select the whole thing, they are still there. Yeah. So you can either select everything or just one thing here, and the options are always on the right side. So first of all, we don't see particles going on here. Why is that? That is because there are no particles spawning. So we have an option here that says particle spawn. I'm going to skip the upper ones for now. We're going to get back to those in a bit. But we want to spawn particles, so particle spawn. We press on the plus here and we type in spawn. And nope, that's wrong. You see already there. Here, emitter update. I think. Nee, emitter spawn. Here, emitter spawn. Okay. Spawn rate. There we go. We have a spawn rate here. Put this in here and it gives us an error here. And we can just simply click fix issue. There we go. Now we see it. It belongs in the emitter update, it seems. Makes more sense because each frame, they are spawning new particles. So it belongs in the emitter update. So let's just type in a few here. Let's type in 100 for now. And we can see a white dot appearing because they all spawn at the same location. They're not moving or anything. So yeah, we see our 100 particles spawning right at the same position. We can just go to particle update. In this case, I'm pretty sure about it. And we can click on the plus here and type in gravity force. So, and it gives us another error up here, fix issue. This is because it's below the solve force velocity. This has to be most times at the end. So yeah, that's where the calculations happen, I guess. This is just where you type in the value. So we click on fix issue and I wanted to take a look over here. It's going to move up. There we go. And now we have a falling particle here. And you can see they're just straight falling down here. You can change this by selecting the gravity force and, well, changing the gravity here. I'm going to type in a -5 or something. Let's see how this looks. It's low maybe, but let's keep it for now. And I'm going to type in, I'm going to click on particle update here. And we're just taking a manual look under force. Where's force? Forces, here we go. And I want a wind maybe. Let's try wind and click fix issue so it moves above. And now we have a wind and I'm going to just put a bit Y in here. But we can see, actually it's not too bad. I want to change the spawn rate a bit lower because we're not going to spawn 100 of those. Make like a 20, I guess. Maybe even less. Maybe like a 50? I think it's per frame, so maybe just a 5 would do as well. We'll see about it. Doesn't matter. Now, you see they all spawn at the same location. That's usually not what we want. We only have one cherry blossom at one position usually. So we can go to particle spawn and we can type in a box location. That means they are going to spawn in a box. You see, already looking a bit better. And I think I'm going to turn off or just delete the curl noise because I'm not entirely sure what it's supposed to do. Let's just delete that. Well, with that, we at least have some particles spawning and falling down. That's a start, I guess. Now, we want to get our mesh in there. So let's go back to Blender and we're going to export those. I'm going to delete the light, probably cut this out because I didn't want this part in the video. So I'm going to select one cherry blossom here. I'm going to File, Export, FBX, and let's check the settings here really quick. I have a preset for that. Selected objects only, so include selected objects, yeah. So make sure this particle is, this cherry blossom is selected. You have selected objects, go down a bit, geometry. Important is that you, under geometry, select phase. Usually it's at normals only, but we want phase. We don't have an armature, we don't have a bake animation, that's fine. And now I'm going to add cherry blossom _1 because we're going to have 3 of those. Export, And we're going to do the same thing with the other one here. File, export, FBX. Should still have the same settings. All we need to do is change this to a 2. And this here, file, export, FBX. 1, 2, 3. And go. With that, the cherry blossom should be exported. Now we're going to locate this in our folder. The X right here in this folder. We're going to drag those. Cherry blossom 1 in here. Window will pop up. It just shouldn't be much changed. We find import all. Just check if it works. Drag this in here. And it should in theory work. Yes, it looks about right. Well, it's supposed to be small, right? Going to delete this again. It works. Back to my folder. Where is it? There we go. Cherry blossom 2. Get in here. Import all. Cherry blossom 3. Import all. And it should do it. Now back to this window here. And right now we are just spawning sprites. So flat planes which look like circles. You can just delete this sprite renderer. Delete. And plus. And we only have a few options here. And we're going to use the mesh renderer. Mesh, yeah. We're using a mesh. And we can just go over here and type in cherry blossom 1. Take a look if it works out. And there we go. We already see our cherry blossom spawning. The biggest problem is probably that we don't have rotation here. And that's something I gotta figure out because I really don't know how to do that. But we will see about it. I don't think it's going to be very hard to do. So you can see I already did a bit here. Don't worry, I just turned off the recording because I didn't want to bore you while I'm sipping away my iced tea here and just figuring things out. Don't worry about the second thing here. This is what I did, yeah. And here's where we left off. And we're going to work from here. Now we have to do a little thing. I want to take a look at Blender first here. We have these things very flat. Now you can see this one isn't flat anymore. The problem is when they reach exactly this point, they are almost disappearing here. And this is going to be a problem. So what I did with that one here is I put on a Solidify Modifier. And it seems like I applied it, which is stupid. Let me just go a few steps back here. Yeah, there we go. Solidify Modifier. So let's do this together with the other two. You have to do this for all 3 of them. So I already did it with the one. You have to do it with one more. I'm just going to pick this one here now. So I'm going to put on a Solidify Modifier. And I'm going to give it just a tiny bit of thickness. Like 0.1. 0.1 is looking pretty fine. I think I should probably do this as well here. 0.1 looks pretty fine to me. Yeah. And yeah, let's just put a Solidify on all of them, 0.1. That's about right. Looking pretty decent, I think. And yeah, we have to export them again. I already exported this one here, so I'm going to do it with this one here. File, export, FBX, and cherry blossom 2 in this case. And I'm going to make an underscore solidif. So I know it's solidified. The same export settings we had before. Enter, and this one here as well. File, FBX. And this is 3 underscore solidif. And all right, now that's done. We have to import it again. Drag those in here. Import all. Solidif. Import all. And I'm going to delete the other 3 here. They're not solidified versions. Delete. Force delete. It's fine. Window is probably going to close. I have to open it again. All right, now we're back where we should be. I'm going to turn this off and turn this on here. So that's where we left off together. Where are my particles? Ah yeah, we don't see them because in the mesh renderer we don't have a mesh anymore. So I'm going to type in cherry blossom, and I'm going to pick the one solidified. Now we see them. You could have made them work with a simple plane as well, but it wouldn't have looked as good. So we're going with this version here now. Either way, like you can see, I figured out I think decent looking thing here. Not looking too bad, I think. Maybe it can be improved, but let's do this together here. So what did I do? We have the gravity already and the wind force. Okay, that's about fine. Let's make the wind force actually like 0.1 for now. Barely reacting here. But what we're going to do, calculate mass from and rotation. Yeah, so let's click on here. Calculate mass and rotation. What this does, I think, so don't count me on that. It's just like I'm learning with you here right now. calculate the mass and rotation, inertia, that this is like a math function or something, based off the particle bounds and density value. Basically what it means, it calculates the rotation and the mass depending on the mesh size. Yeah? And when we click on that, we can already see here in the right, we can first of all change this from Sprites. Sprite is like the default particle, yeah, but we are using a mesh, so change this to mesh. All right, and we can see density by material type, steel. We don't obviously have steel, we don't have rock, we don't have wood, we have paper. Well, at least it's the closest thing, I guess. So, and if we now here with the check mark, you can turn it off and on. We should actually see, yeah, we see like a tiny difference. And we're going to drag this below the wind force. This can be either way, I guess. Now we need a mesh rotation force. Let's make a mesh rotation force. And you can see arrow, fix issue, it's going to move up and it's going to add something. That's okay. Let's do this. Let's keep this here, I think. And what did I use there? Mesh rotation force 0.1. Okay. So we're typing in 0.1, 0.1, 0.001. And we can see now it's rotating. We turn off the calculate mass and rotation. You can see it's not rotating much, but it's slightly rotating. We turn this on again and turn off the mesh rotation. It's also barely rotating. So I think, don't count me on it, okay? I think those two kind of work together here, okay? What I think. Since you can see, depending on how fast they fall, they change the rotation kind of, yeah? And if we maybe drag the wind a bit up, like a 0.5 maybe? We have some other stuff here as well. I have used the curl noise force here. So let's put this in as well. Curl noise force. And let's fix the issue. Move up above the solver. Okay. Ooh, it's going to be a bit intense. What did I use here? Curl noise? Like a 0.1. That seems about right. We have to use so small numbers because our meshes are also pretty small. Now you can see this is already looking pretty leaf-like, I would say. Sometimes they're going up, maybe they're going a bit far up. So let's change the gravity a bit more, like a -20. There we go. Looking a bit more leaf-like. Some going up sometimes. In general, they flow pretty much down. Maybe we can increase the wind a little bit. Maybe a 1. What's about 1? Yeah, it's looking rather neat. They're spreading a bit much. Maybe the curl noise is a bit strong. Maybe instead of 1.0, maybe a 0.05. The rotation is a bit strong. We can change the rotation. Change the rotation here with mesh rotation force, and maybe we should drag this up above the calculate. When used in particle update, one should also use update velocity on mass change. See what it does. Update velocity on mass change. Maybe drag this below that here. What does it do? Alters the particle angular and linear velocity based on the mass delta. This module will slow down a particle's velocity if the mass is increased and speed up if it's smaller. It doesn't make sense. It should be kind of the opposite for us actually. Because if the leaf is, oh, maybe. No, it makes sense, I guess. I don't think it should change much since all our particles are the same. But it's rather interesting. So I think what it does is if we have smaller particles, they will fall differently than the bigger ones. So I think that's about right. Not sure if I'm happy with the rotation here. Actually, I think I'm happy with the rotation. Sometimes they leave like wiggle around and stuff, right? So let's save here, Control-Shift-S. Alright, one thing I want to do before we move on to the material is I want to randomize the size a bit. And here under emitter, no, here under initialize particle, there is the mesh attribute, the mesh scale, yeah. And you can see if I scale this up here, how they get bigger on one axis. I could like stretch it insanely and whatever. I'm not going to do that. But microphone go out of the way. Down here on the side here, here's an arrow. And we can type in Uniform range vector. That's what we want. Nope. Never mind. Want that. Click on the arrow to undo that. We want a float. So a vector from float, scale float, multiply vector by float. That means we're multiplying these upper three values with a single float. So if I now drag this up here, they are all going to scale up. And we can see we definitely have some physics in here. Now they are gigantic, so they start to spin insanely and fall really slow because they're big, yeah. So whatever we did here, it seems to make somewhat sense because this gigantic size obviously would like go a bit insane there. But back to 1. I just want to slightly randomize them a bit. Now we can modify those 3 values x, y, z with 1 float. Now we want to randomize it, click here, and now we want a uniform range float. There we go. And now we have a min and a max value, and we can already see some of them are smaller, some of them are bigger. Now I obviously don't want them to be 0, so we're going to start with a 1, or let's say a 0.75. Yep. And like a 1.5. Now we have a bit of a range going on. Maybe they're still a bit too small, some of them. Yeah, I think some of them might be too small, so let's start with a 1 or a 0.9, 0.8, 0.9, 0.9. Maybe a 0.5 is a bit too big. I just want very slightly a difference here, so 1.3 seems about right. And thanks to the different size, you can see how completely different they also fall depending on the size. Like I said, when we scale this up, they already fell a bit different. So this is kind of nice. Let's move over to the material. So I'm going to right click here. And we can create a material and we call this cherry_blossom. Why does this not work? Because we already have a particle system that is called cherry blossom. So click this F2 and make this B maybe big, and I'm going to call it _ NG for Niagara, I guess. And now we can put the M here in the back. Okay. Cherry blossom. Let's open that. A new window will open, and this is basically like the shader editor in Blender. It's barely any different. Probably the most similar of all of Unreal to Blender. This is like the principal BDSF, and we gotta change some stuff here. And this is like the principal BDSF and the output at the same time. We are going to change the blend mode here. Opaque is just the normal thing. I guess we want to have mask eventually. Let's try mask. I have a bad feeling about some stuff here because I had some bugs when I used some stuff here, but we'll see about it. So what do we want to do? We want it, it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to put this over here for now. And we took a UV map, which is texture coordinates here. And we plugged this. We took only the green channel. Maybe it's going to be the red here since X and Y are flipped. Component mask. You can see we select this down here. We can have RGB, whatever. And let's just start with R. Let's see what R does. And I'm going to use an add and a multiply. Like that, like we have in Blender. Then instead of a clamp, we're using a saturate. It's doing basically the same thing. But you can see clamp's value between 0 and 1, saturate is 3 on most modern graphics hardware. So it's like not eating our CPU, GPU, whatever, GPU. And then we inverted it once, which is the 1 minus. There we go, 1 minus. And we multiplied that thing, multiply with our RGB, which is holding 3 on your keyboard, left click. There we have a color value of vector 3, so-called vector 3. Up here, let's go over to Blender here. I'm going to copy the hex value, Control Z. And I'm going to put this in here, double click, down here, Control V, okay. That's our color. And then we need another multiply down here and another holding 3 and left click. And this was white. Yeah, okay. And in the end, we used an add together here. Put this into the emission for now and see what happens. Maybe make this flat here. Okay, we only see white because we need to modify those 2 values here. I'm holding 1 left click, and I can drag those in here. I have values I can change. Let's see what we have there. We have in the add, we have a minus 0.13. And in here we have, what do we have here? 0.63. 0.63. Seems about right. Okay. Seems about right. Hide this for now. And we're going to select our material here. Make sure it's like glowing yellow. Go to our particle system, mesh renderer, and here probably looking a bit different. It's probably looking like this here for you. Check this, material override and array. Now you can just select your material here, which is cherry blossom. Okay. Now it might take a second. Let's make it here. And we can see we have our color here on our cherry blossoms. Pretty neat. And we can probably also, yeah, whatever. I guess we can drag the cherry blossom in here. And let's move this way. The cherry blossom here selected. I'm going to like scale it up. Let's say 100, 100, 100. Doesn't matter really. Up here. And we can grab our material and drag this on here. We can see it. Okay. There we go. We can see what's actually wrong. We used the wrong axis here. So let's get back to our material here. And instead of R, we want to use actually green. And apply. There we go. No, there we don't go. They are the wrong way around. Remember when I told you on the bottom, they should have more color, and to the outside, they should fade out. So what we actually need to do is just flip those colors here. Okay. And that should do it. Let's see. Okay. But we need to change the values a bit. Probably the add here. And bit up. Maybe a bit much, like a 0.5 eventually. Let's see. Should be about right. Okay. Click here. Yeah, it's looking pretty right so far. Now, in theory, we could leave it like that and it would work, I guess. But I want to refine that a bit more and have like a special thing going on. So this might be a bit harder to do because I'm not completely sure here myself. But what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to select my emitter down here. You only have one. By the way, I think I can delete this. Probably recreated it already. I'm going to select this one here. Control Z, Control V. We will have a second emitter. Okay, we start deleting a few things here. We can, by the way, turn this off here. So we only see the second one. Let's delete the mesh renderer. Let's delete all of that here. I don't think we need, oh, damn it. Wait, never delete the solve, force, and velocity. But beside that, and the particle state, those two we need, I think. The box location we can delete. Spawn rate we can delete. Let's keep it in there. Let's keep the spawn rate in there, but make it, let's keep it 5, whatever. And what we're going to do is go to render. And here we have a ribbon renderer. It's in here. And let's see what's going on here. Nothing is going on. Maybe we need a gravity for now. Let's just put a quick gravity in here. This issue. Ah yeah, there we go. See something we can see like ribbons falling down. Just put in the gravity so I can see it. Otherwise it would be like in one point, right? So, and what I want is that the ribbons follow kind of the particle to like generate like a fake wind. Yeah, I think it might look nice. So let's try this. Let's again. And then, no, actually we need this now. We need to generate an event. Click on that. So with that we can generate an event. Select this property here and let's click on spawn particle. I think we will see. Either way, we need another thing here in the source here. We need a generate location event because we want to grab the location of our particles. Now we have an arrow here, and this arrow comes if we select the emitter properties. Yeah, requires persistent ID. We need the thing to, we need to check the thing here. Okay, now it's running again. We don't have an arrow anymore. Seems to be right. Now we need to go to our ribbon emitter here, and under add event handler, we need an event here. Select this here, and over here we can grab our location event. Okay, so far so good. Let's see, what did I forget? I forgot something. So okay, I had a little error here. So the generate location event. It has to be in particle update because it constantly needs to update the location. Yeah, so we need to drag this in here. So now it's constantly updating the location per frame. And we go over here to the other emitter here. And under event handler properties here, we spawn number. Right now it's not spawning anything, so we need to change this to a 1. And you can see, well, it's also a very interesting effect if you ask me. That could definitely be used for something, I guess. But the reason why this is happening is because of the gravity we have in here. So if we turn off the gravity, you can see how it's just simply following the each particle. This is definitely very interesting. I didn't expect this to happen, to be honest. But this is very interesting. Could probably do something very interesting with that. But either way, I'm going to turn this off. Or we keep it in here just as a reminder. This is a possibility. We can save here, Control-Shift-S. And now we go over to modify that a bit. Now, if we select this here somewhere, I keep forgetting where it is live. You can also just type in here live, and we can see the marked lifetime here. We have a lifetime, and definitely a bit shorter, like a 1, even shorter, like a 0.1 eventually. No, that's too short, like a 0.5. That's too long again, 0.3. There we go, something like that. You know, we have a trail following that whole thing. And let's see, under ribbon renderer, no, here somewhere under the update here, initialize particle. Mesh scale, we probably should reset the mesh scale because this is not what we are using here. Check this error here and turn off that thing here. Because we are using a sprite here. See what happens if I increase that. Getting bigger. Not really. I know there is like under here on the spawn particle plus ribbon initialize a ribbon, right? And here under initialize a ribbon we have a width and a twist. Oh, that's interesting. Twist doing. I mean, obviously it should twist it. Don't see much of that happening. Doesn't matter. That's it. Not what I want anyway. 0 here. Ribbon width. So we can increase or increase how thick it is. 0.5. Is it getting longer because of that as well? Oh, it did change. Okay, so can we delete this initialized particle now? Yeah. Can delete it now. Only the thing we need is the initialize ribbon. Okay. That means the lifetime needs to be changed here because now this is initializing the ribbon, not the particle anymore. Yeah, around the size of the particle. Maybe we can link that to the size of the particle somehow. But I'm going to take care of that later eventually. For now, this seems to be rather fine. Well, but with that, we have the trail by creating here a property, a generate location event. So that each frame it's generating a location event, asking where the location is. We have this event handler property, which we changed here to spawn particle. So it's not doing this for every single particle, but only for the spawn ones. Then we copied this whole thing here. We deleted everything. And you can see what we put in here. We have the ribbon renderer, no material on there yet. We changed the spawn count to 1. What happens if we change it to 2? Yeah, probably spawning like 2 right behind it. So this makes no sense. Lucky 1. Event handler, yeah, we created an event handler here. Here we have the emitter in there and this empty 1 emitter. And spawn particles, spawn number. What happens if we put 0 here as well? Ah, okay, it's like going through it. Okay, spawn as well. Okay, this whole thing handles everything inside. So if I select this, it's also going to show the options of the event handler properties and receive location event. And we changed here in the main emitter the requires persistent ID thing. So it works. All right, let's save here. So I did a little bit of changing here. You can see I dragged in my particle system here. Just grab this thing, drag it in, and it's going to be in here. Okay. And I did some changes because it kind of reacted differently in the viewport for some reason than it does in here, at least at first glance. So let's just go through it really quick. What I changed is under the gravity force, I made a point -10 out of that. The wind I made x2. Well, you can change this later anyway. It doesn't matter really that much. The curl noise I made a 0.3. I don't know if something changed here. mesh rotation force I made really small, like really small. For some reason they like rotated really quickly, and I think that's it. Only the mesh rotation force and the curl eventually, the wind and the gravity. The reason why I didn't record it is because I tried to figure out a bug. And well, it's definitely a bug, but things can be done differently. So first of all, I want to change or give the ribbon a color. So we have over here in the initialize ribbon, we have a color here. And if I change the color, it should theoretically change the color here as well. Okay, no, because we don't have a material yet. Yeah, so we are right clicking here, material, and we call this ribbon underscore wind. Okay, open that. And we are right clicking particle color. So this thing here will grab the color from the particle system, the color we put in here. So if I make this now just for symbolization really blue, and I'm going to put in the color here in the emission. Let's make this material unlit here, unlit. So we only have the emission. Let's do it for now. Yeah, apply. And back to our particles, and now we still don't see any color because we didn't put the material on the particle. So down here in the ribbon renderer, we have a material, and we can just ribbon wind blue. There we go. Yeah. All right. That's the base material for that. So we can change the color here in the initialize ribbon, and we can click this down here and type in curve, color from curve. Okay, now we can see it's white because we have white here as well. And in the end, it should actually lose its transparency. The reason why it doesn't is because we have the wrong material, I think. So let's pause this here. Okay, full screen. You actually lose your transparency. You don't. It's probably because of the material. And the material is not able to be transparent with this peak here. So let's make this translucent for now. Slide it. So I had a little bit of figuring out here to do. So first of all, to our ribbon wind here, ignore all this stuff down here. We just delete that. We don't need that. All we need is this here. Color goes into the emissive color. That way we can control our actual particle color over here in the particle system. And the alpha channel, which is transparency, goes into opacity, and this whole thing here is translucent, okay, and unlit. That's all we need. And I want to show you a little mistake I did at first, and it's pretty common to do this. And still, I had to take a break because I didn't realize what's going on and I was so confused. In the initial ribbon, yeah, we can change the color, right, to something else, because the color we put in here flows into our material out here into the emissive color. All right. So, and I wanted to control where this color is. Like, you click here and type in curve. You can control this color from a curve. Yeah. So if I change this color here, by the way, this upper two are for the color, and the lower twos are for the transparency. So you can see how it fades out from 1 to 0. This is what the lower one does. And if I change the color up here, we can see it's blue, but it's not like fading out or going to white. It's just pure blue. The reason for that is because these ribbons generate along there, yeah, and we're doing this in the particle spawn. So they spawn with this thing and they never change. If I'm going to delete this curve again here under this arrow here, it's just gone. It's just white now. And instead, go to the particle update plus and type in color and just simply put a color in there. Okay. We can also change the color for each frame. Now each frame, this color will be generated. Each frame it says, okay, it's blue. So if I now put in here color from curve, and you can already see what's happening. It's fading out in here because each frame checks where should be the transparency, which makes sense. And honestly, last part I recorded was like 6 hours ago because I got kind of annoyed by it and didn't know what's going on. And now it just made it. And I realized what's going on. Okay. Each frame has to update. So now we should be able to just simply change the color here. And yeah, you can see it's fading out to the white and transparent. So where did we actually left off? I wanted to change the life first of all. The lifetime is here. I think we had a 0.3 in here or something, rather short, maybe even just a 0.2. Yep, all right, I think. I don't want them to be like in there, right in there. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this a bit over here. Yeah. And I'm going to make another one. I think it's with shift. Yeah, you can just hold shift. Let's delete the upper one again. And I want this here at 0 be 0 as well. And if we now take a look here, the front should also be transparent slightly. Maybe we have to drag this a bit middle. How the middle should be visible. And yeah, eventually can just delete the back color here for now. Put it directly at 0.5. How it looks like. And it seems to be fading out at the beginning and at the back. And maybe increase the lifetime a bit. Lifetime. Here. Maybe a 0.4. A bit more space going on here. Further in here. There we go. Something like that. You can see. Don't want it to be like directly in there. Be a bit less and almost touch it. And I think it could eventually be a bit thicker. So initialize ribbon width. Let's try a 3 here. 3 might be okay. Maybe even a 4. Yeah, 4 might be good. Okay. Save it. Control-Shift-S. That's about what I want. Okay, so for the color over here, I changed something. I put this back to 0 and 1, yeah, but I keep this at 0.5 right now because I found something way better. We did this because I wanted to not have it touch the particle. Over here in the generate location event, you have like this event send rate, yeah, and you can check this here, event condition, whatever, just make it look like I have it here. And now let's go to more. Let's put it here. Quite a lot for now. We'll see about it in a second. And we can change the gap correction amount. Now it's in front. Okay, we need to go into the minus basically. And we can see we have it in the back. Well, maybe a bit more like a -8. Might be a bit much. A bit much, yeah. Minus what, 5? Oh, it's kind of lagging behind like it should. But better. Maybe it's still a bit much, so maybe minus 3.5. That seems about right. Now it is fixed the distance a bit to minus 2.5. Seems about right. Ish. Let's keep it like that for now. And what is that here actually? Okay, so instead of 1000, let's take a look at our spawn rate here. Spawn rate, we have a 5. Let's see if a 5 does it. I don't think it will, but try a simple 5 here. Yeah, we can already see one is missing here. This is just telling us how many events we can have. Yeah, it's kind of lagging. Why not just like say all with a 0 or something? Seems like it. Percent rate. Oh, we can just turn it off. Okay, I don't know. I thought I had to turn it on because the gap correction mode only appeared when I like checked it and unchecked it. Weird. About rightish. Alright, so now let's make a nice wind material actually with all of that set up. So let's take a look at our wind material here, wind, right? Because we put this wind material on our renderer here, ribbon renderer. So we're going to modify this a little bit. To be honest, I already worked a little bit on it just to see what we're going to do. So first of all, I kind of want to have like stripes on the thing. To get like stripes on it, I'm going to use a noise texture. And we can right click and start previewing node. And we see the noise here. Obviously, it's pretty small. We're going to use this position node here. Input. Deform it. We're going to, let's see, start putting in a texture coordinate, which is the UV. Not quite right. We need to separate this first of all, so we can manually modify R and G, X and Y. So we're using a component mask here. Let's put R, copy this again. This one goes to G, and we're going to use a multiply for each multiply, and one down here as well. Put in a one on your keyboard, left click, put this in here, and I'm just going to put in the numbers I worked out, and I'm going to explain it in a second. 0.01, And here I have about a one. Let's just put this in here. And we need to combine those together again. So let's just use a append, not a append many. Can we use a append many? Might actually work. Use a append many. And RGB goes in here. Now we don't have a B input, we need a B input. So let's make a 1 and we keep it at 0 for now. So here I changed the level to 2. 2 should be enough. And the output minimum, you can see if I'm disconnecting this here. We can make this a bit bigger for now, just like a 0.01, so you can see it better. Okay. What this option here does, the levels, first of all, well, this increases the how many calculations are going on, and the 2 is fine here. This will be enough. And the output minimum is the minimum we will see. So right now it's -1, so these blacks are -1, but I want a 0 in here. Okay. All right. Now we can plug in the RGB again. We're going to use a subtract. And we're going to use the alpha here. Because we know the alpha over here in the cherry blossom is like this curve here in the, where is it? Particle color update here. We have black, white, black. Black, white, black. Okay, so that's what we want to subtract. We want to subtract the white from our noise from this here. So, and we're going to plug this into the opacity for now. Let's apply and see what's happening. Not much is going on. That is because it's probably too weak. Let's put in a multiply here. And we're going to multiply this with 10. Make it a bit stronger. And we can already see it's cutting off some stuff here. Okay, I know what's going on. I put this to 0.01. Let's keep this at 1. The additional thing here. So I want 0 in here. So it should look like so. There we go. All right, and this should be 0.01, and you should be like a 1.6 eventually. Yeah, here we go. So what this does is, here we're grabbing one axis of 2D texture. So green is either up and down, or left and right, and R is going to be X, so the other one. So if we are increasing this here, you can see how we get more of those lines here. We're basically stretching this noise texture along one axis here by multiplying it down or up. So I want it's just 1.6 for now. That is supposed to be a good value. And if we apply this now, take a look here. You can already see we got a wind-like thingy. Thing is, they are all looking exactly the same. You can see we have everywhere those like two lines, yeah, and they're not going to change. So what I did in the ribbon material here, I grabbed the particle position, yeah, so the individual particle position, and I took this whole vector here. We can just press Z here, and we can call this noise stretch, yeah. So we know we stretch the noise here, and I took this whole vector and I add this particle position to it. Now this is going to be way too strong. If I now apply this here, it's going to get wild. Okay, see, it's kind of wild and way too small and whatever. So I decreased this a lot. So multiply, decrease this a lot by 0.005. So it's very weak, but it will provide some variations. Or maybe not. Turn on here again. Yeah, there we go. Okay, maybe I just wrong look here. It will add some slight variations. Also, I think I realized, I mean, I'm not new to the particle as well. Never trust the viewport in here for some reason. It's really not what it looks like in the viewport over here. You can see it's just vastly looking different. So problem is that I can only work with one screen here with you. But yeah, don't trust this viewport. For some reason, it's pretty different than this here. You can see we have some variations that way going on. It's already looking pretty decent. Now, the other thing is, I cannot really pause it. I think I can right click. Yeah, I can right click something. Now, what I don't like is that it's very hard cut off on the sides to the left and the right. So we can also give it a smooth cut off like we have in the color here, right? Cut it off smooth at the beginning and in the end. You can also do this for the side, but we have to do it in the material. For that, I'm also taking the texture coordinate and copying this here down. And let's make another frame for that here. Let's move here. See, and we call this variation. Let's just call it variation because that's kind of what it does here. And we can move over here, up here, back here. And this is the intensity basically. So we can make a 1 here, 1 on keyboard, left click, put in a 10 here. And we can call this frame here intensity. So we know this is the intensity, right? It like this, and we can just make a frame for all of those, and we call it noise. Okay, so we can read it. All right. Now back to the sides. I wanted to cut off the sides. To cut off the sides, I'm taking the texture coordinates here. I'm making a component mask, and I put this to green, and I'm going to use an add and a multiply to offset this texture. We can just right click and start previewing. All white. Let's put in 2 values here, 1 on keyboard and left click, and the add should be 0, the multiply should be 1, otherwise it's going to be 0. Multiplying something with 0 is always 0. And we can offset this whole thing here by moving this along, by dragging a bit, going to the minus, you see. Fine so far. I took the same thing again, moved those over here, same thing again, and all I did here is go on minus, which is an invert. Put this in here, right? And I multiplied those together because you see we have the black up here now and the white down here. And if I now review this here, we have the black down here, and those are zeros and those are zeros. If we multiply 0 with something else, it's going to be 0. So we're basically masking it out. I plug this in here. Preview this now. See, we have the sides black, which do provide like an additional mask, which we can combine with our alpha channel again here to cut off the sides. So let's make a frame around this and call this soft sides, I guess. And we can just take this out here, make another subtract. Yeah. Again, let's take a look at this. I hope it does. Actually, not a subtract, sorry. We need to multiply it again. In fact, multiply, because we're multiplying the edges, which are 0, with something else. It's going to go. And okay, let's take a look at our cherry blossom here. And we should have a soft side here. Actually, take a look. Yeah. It definitely got a bit softer. It's a bit too soft. It's taking a bit much away. If we take another multiply here in the middle and in here like that, 1 left click and multiply this by like say 4. See, eventually it should be for the intensity, but about it. But the intensity, yeah, right. The intensity should be like, yeah, so more sense. Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't make more sense. Yep. This is better, yes. This is far better. Thing is that we just have to just a bit. I think the intensity of 10 is a bit lot. Let's try 4 here. Okay, already better. And now you can see we have like in the middle stuff sometimes. If I take a look, I hit someone here. Yeah, you can see like it probably should be cut off. It should be like rather straight in my opinion. Now, what can we do about it? Where is this coming from? Now, if you think about it, it's probably coming from the noise here. If we increase this a bit, let's see if we can that. Or maybe like a 0.6. Not really. But it should be in theory. I think either way we might need a multiply here after the noise. Yeah, sure. Do need one here. It's not really the intensity, it's more like a noise fix, I'd say. It should be at 10. Because this will make the noise sharper. And yeah, there we go. Now we have our sharp wind. But right, looking too shabby though. And the intensity, let's see if we can like play around with it. Put it to 1, which should be the base value because multiply, you know. Yeah. Now this intensity, if we like pump it up. There we go. That's a nice intensity. But I think a 5 was rather fine. Yeah, 5 is. Oh, maybe a. Oh, I have to. 5 is kind of soft. That's what it should, I guess. Could later adjust it out. Control Shift S here. So there's one more thing I want to do, or probably a few, I guess. But I want them to like the wind to scale down, get thinner in the end. Okay, so we can do that in the update because it needs to ask each frame. We could modify the width here, but only in the spawn and the overall width, which it's spawning with. But we want to have it ask it each frame. So we press on the plus here and type in ribbon width, and we can use a curve, plot from curve. Yeah, right. Now we have a curve in here, and you can already see it's let's take a look at this here. It will work. How it's like scaling together in the end over the life. Yeah. So in the end of its life, it's going to be like a 0. You can see this over here. I would change this now. Let's just grab all of them. Actually, we only have one here. Put this down to 0. Let's put this up. You can see how it's like big in the end. So you can see how it's big in the end. Maybe this makes also sense. It's kind of depending, I guess. It would actually look good. I thought about it the other way around, but you can also just select this. Let's select the front one here. Let's put this definitely to 0 here and to 0. And in the end, it should be always time 1. And then you can see how much you want. Let's make a 5 just to over accelerate it. 5 is definitely too much. Let's take a 2.5. Try the other way around. So I'm going to make this 1, not here. The value should be 1. And I'm going to make you 0. Actually looks better, I think. And I guess I like this more. Yeah, it's kind of up to you, I guess. Let's save, Control Shift S. So if we take a look here at our particles now, you can see the wind is kind of nicely following, but there's like a tiny thing I don't like about it. It's that it's like straightly following me. I think it should like have a slight deformation. We can easily do that by going over here to the particle update and add a curl noise force and click fix so it moves above. Should be, and now it's going insane. Well, the noise strength is just simply way too strong. Let's put like 0.1 in there. Probably still too strong. Look how it looks like. Yeah, that's too strong. 0.01. Yeah, 0.01. Hello. 0.0. Now it just has like a very slight deformation. You can see like sometimes it's like a bit wiggly. And we could theoretically increase the frequency here. And then it's like super wiggly. But I think the default value might actually be fine. Maybe even a tiny bit less. Just a tiny bit, like a 0.04. Maybe 1.03. Yeah, no, it's not what I want. Maybe there would be nice if they if the wind like flows from the front to the side or something. But I think that's a bit too high level even for me. Like I'm not high level at all. But I think that's a bit too much for now. It's looking nice the way it is. So back to the cherry blossom here. What I want to do, take a look at our particles here again. When they're falling, they're literally just falling and rotating, right? But like a leaf would like bend a bit and whatever. So I kind of want the leaves to bend. We have a few vertices in here. We have a mesh. So I think we can actually like form it a bit by just using a noise again. So let's make a noise. And plug this in here in the world position offset. You can already see it's deforming. Even the plane here is deforming. Just apply it and see. Probably just simply deformed. Yeah. And if they play now, they're probably not going to. Oh, they're actually changing. Okay. Interesting. Okay, yeah. So we definitely have to adjust this a bit. Let's just do this very simple for now. what I'm going to do is make this a bit, well, a previewing on here, yeah. It's going on, so let's make this quite a lot bigger, 0.01. Like this, and take a look. I think they're deforming now a little bit, aren't they? I mean, they definitely are, just matter. The question is how much. There we go, there we see it stretched around. Let's just take our look here. Yeah, now we see some bending going on and whatever. We have too many levels here. We don't need that many, definitely not. And one might actually be enough. Also, I just realized some are disappearing mid-air. Don't like that. Select this here. And let's take a look at the lifetimes. That should be in here in the initialized particle. And let's make a 20 out of that. I'm not sure. Let's try plugging something in. Let's use the particle position here. Particle position. Maybe this is actually why it's kind of irritating me here. Oh, they're static now again. Position. You can just check how it reacts by plugging it into the emission. I have to avoid noise here for now. Make this our 0.03 or whatever we had there. Plug this in here. If we go over here and we take a closer look at our color here, we can see sometimes they're actually like complete white. Sometimes they're complete black. Maybe this is what we want, maybe it's not. Let's plug also in the noise into the opacity. No, not the opacity, in the world. And we should see it deform and change the color. See how long this stays white. I would guess this is too big. I don't see much deformation. Yeah, what do we? We do, but it's kind of weak eventually, or is it? I think that's working. So I'm going to stay with that the way it is. Nothing special about it though. Put this in here. Thought I needed to do a little bit more there. When I'm like playing around here, okay, you can see. When I'm like playing around here, I just took a look. Yeah. And I don't know, sometimes they seem a bit very wiggly to me, like here, a bit very wiggly, especially when they're like faster. So I need to do something about this when they're getting faster, like down here in a faster state. I don't like that they're like so extremely wiggly. So what I'm going to do here, try world position. I hope nothing will change after I plug this in here. Barely seems to change. I think this is about the same, if not exactly the same as before. What I'm going to do is make a split components here. So I have access to the z-axis, right? Because if they fall faster, they're going to get through more z, especially z. Also through x and y, but especially z. So what I'm going to do is just simply take a bit of z out of here. So I'm going to use a subtract here. Another one will be 0. I'm going to take out 0.7. And I'm going to out here and make a append many, and then we can combine it again. Blue, green, and red. In here. Yeah, they seem less wiggly now. Still wiggly, but the right amount, I think. Okay. Back here, let's plug this in the color here. Apply. Maybe a bit more here. It seems nice. Now let's make a frame for that. So C, and we call this deform. Yeah, deform. Because we can clearly see what's going on. We're taking a bit of Z out, blue Z. And let's call this, make a frame for that, base power. It's kind of acting like a texture here. What do I want to do next? I think I'm going to copy this whole thing here because this is kind of solid. This is working as it should. So I'm going to go down here, Control Z, Control V one time. And I know it's going to be a bit tricky making this work with there. It's not working right off the box. We can see we don't have wind on this one here, but we have wind on this one here. We don't have wind here. So what we need to do here is, well, we probably have a different event here. Source on the side. Mainly about the event here. emitter 001. We should probably rename those. So can we just F2 here? Can. F2, and we're going to call this, what do we call this? Cherry underscore blossom underscore 1 underscore solidif. So we know which is which. And the next one is going to be the cherry underscore blossom underscore 2 underscore solidif. Okay, let's see if we get this to work for now. Here we have 2 now, same thing. Just it's only reading one. Our rims are only reading one of those emitters, which right now is none, I think. Yeah, because we renamed it, did we? Emitter empty. Yeah, right now we shouldn't actually see any. Name definitely changed. Still seems to work as it did before. All right, I don't think we can make one ribbon emitter handle all the different thingies here. What we can try though, let's turn this off really quick. I'm going to add another mesh renderer here. And here we're going to just simply add the cherry blossom 2. And I guessed it, like a problem, because they're now flying next to each other. Yeah, not going to work. Let's just delete that. Whatever. We're not using many particles here anyway. I don't think it's a big deal. Let's turn this on again, and we're going to this mesh renderer here, and we are using our cherry blossom 2. You can turn off this one here. It's so flat. Damn, we don't have a backside. What's going on here? Blossom 2 solidify. Huh? Take a look at Blender here. The video. Oh, damn it. Yeah, I don't know if this happened to you. This is kind of stupid. Sorry, we gotta redo this, or at least I. So what happened here is a file export FBX. I have this 2 selected here, and here with our presets. Select objects only, and I don't have apply modifiers. I didn't apply this modifier. This modifier effectively did nothing. I'm going to check this here. And this is cherry blossom 2 solidified. Yes, export, and the same over here. File export FBX 3. Let's just check if this is on. Apply modifiers phase, okay. And export, okay. And now I gotta re-import it here. Not a too big deal. I'm just going to delete this here. Oop. Same. Doing import all. Okay. Back to where we were. And well, let's just check if they are actually like thick. They are thick. Just double clicked on the window and I saw it. Okay. Now replace that here. Cherry blossom 2. There we go. This is the second cherry blossom. It seems to work pretty fine. And I'm going to, we see we don't have wind, but if I'm turning this on here, some of them have wind, which is this first one here because this is connected to it. Some don't. I'm going to drag this below here. So I know those two are like connected, right? And I'm going to copy this one here as well. And just copy this. Okay, and let's rename this left one here. F2. Cherry underscore blossom underscore 1 underscore solidif underscore wind. There we go. And I guess I can just copy this name of the to Control V, change this to 2 here. Okay. And now this wind is still on this modifier, on this particle system here, on this emitter. We have to change this. So let's see where we grabbed it from. I think it's the event handler property. Here we can see cherry blossom 1 solidify. And change this to cherry blossom 2 solidify. And let's hope we have, okay, another stupid thing. Okay, I see it already and I know what it is. The wind doesn't align with our particle. You see that? It's just definitely off. The reason for that is back in Blender. You see how we offsetted it? Yeah, that's it. So let's hide this one, H, and we select this one, Alt G, and it's in the middle. Same one with that one here, but let's first export it again. File, export, FB. I'm not entirely sure why it takes this position. It's kind of stupid, to be honest. Like that. And export again. H, Alt G, file, export, FBX3. On, okay. Export, fine. Now go back out here. Delete U2. Delete, force delete. Export the 2 in again. Put the 3 in again. No, back here. Actually back in here, in our Niagara system here. And okay, I'll check here. We don't have it in here. Cherry Blossom 2. And now this should work. Just check in slow-mo here a bit. Turn off the first thing here. And I think this might look about right. Well, and what I'm going to do is copy this another time because we have 3 of those. Get up here. F2 and make a 3 out of you. And we're going to change the mesh down here to Cherry Blossom 3. We're going to copy over this one another time. Below that. And we're making a 3 out of you. And also, just saw it, there's a 001. Don't like that. We have this up here. Yes, we have it up there as well. Okay. What we have to do, we change the Cherry Blossom 3, alright. And down here we have to change this, actually here, the event handler properties to 3, location event. And that should do it. Let's just disable the other ones. Actually, we forgot one thing. Doesn't matter. Do it in a second. Yeah, it looks about rightish. File is Control-Shift-S. And let's take a look at our viewport here. We have a bunch here. Are they falling through us? Ah, they're falling through me. Okay, yeah. That is the thing we forgot. Oh, they're spreading quite far. Oh, that's fine. Not a big deal. Let's just turn off. Actually, I want to lower the spawn rate a bit. We have 5 right now. Let's make it 3. And over here as well, 3. And over here as well, 3. Okay. Just a quick look. Seems about right, I guess. The collision. So let's just disable those 2 over here. The wind going to appear randomly, no? No, okay. So I don't think we need to enable the disable the other 2. We forgot the collision, so Control-Shift-S, save here. And here under update we need to have a collision. Collision. Yeah. And we click on fix over here. Okay. And here we have our collision now. Let's just see if this works right off the way. It's ray traced. Collision enabled. Radius is by the sprite. We don't have a sprite, we have a mesh. Dimensions is 1 particle radius scale. I think we changed the overall radius, didn't we? Where is our particle size? It's over here. Between 1.5 and 2. We'll see about it. All it really should do right now is fall on the ground and bounce away. Okay. Well, I don't want to bounce. This is the restitution. Let's just change it to 0. And you ain't bouncing anymore, I hope. Yeah, you're not bouncing anymore. You can see how it just disappeared. This is when I look too far away. When they're out of sight. Now, they're kind of like going wild down there. They should just like be flat on the ground. So I think the friction during bounce, like let's make a high number, just a 50 out of both, and see if this kind of works out and does what we want. Still rotating. Stupid. They're even going faster and faster and faster. Oh, where does the rotation come from? Well, the friction does definitely work. Let's say to some extent, I guess. Friction during bounce, let's make like a 1 out of that. And it should like immediately stop or kind of stop when it's hitting the ground. And then it's like, okay, I'm not happy about this rotation going on there. Control roll on collision. That thing here? I mean, sounds kind of obvious. Damn it, this one is going like wild. Maybe more friction. Let's just increase the friction to like a 2 for now. I think I will break it a bit down here. Yeah, now the wild rotation is gone. I hope. Sometimes they're still rotating, which is kind of fine, I think. Not entirely wrong, but they like still bounce a bit away. Maybe the friction during bounce should be higher. So if the initial hit is like coming, slowing down a lot, sometimes it's still lifting away. This is not entirely wrong though. I just want to see what happens if I like crank this up to 9.9. Are they all going to stay on the ground? Because I have an idea here. Yeah, the friction won't let it lift away completely anymore. They're more like staying on the ground now. A higher friction. So let's actually have a pretty neat idea here. So with a higher friction, they definitely stay on the ground. Bit 2. What we're going to do here, the friction itself, we're going to unfold this. Actually, make this to like a default value again. Yeah, whatever this is. Unfold this here, and we're going to make a uniform range float. This will give us a range, so we're going to say between, let's say, 5 and 100. It's going to pick random numbers. So more of them are staying on the ground right now. Not all of them are super bouncy. Maybe the 5 is too high here. They're not really lifting away anymore. So I'm going to like lower this a 2 and a 25. Now not enough. And maybe too much. I mean, let's see how 20 looks like. 20 might actually not be enough. Where is it? Let's decrease this a bit more. I'm going to put a 10 in here, because I eventually will turn up the friction during bounce. Yeah, they're kind of moving now. They're not like completely sticking. Some are lifting more, some are lifting less. I think this is looking good. Now let's turn up the friction during bounce, and I want to see if it like stops immediately on the ground. Stops immediately on the ground. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. Uniform range, because then we have like a randomized thing, and not all of them are like slowing down at exactly the same speed. They all hit the ground and are exactly at the same speed. So what I'm going to do is like, let's say between a 0 and a 3 or 5. Let's see. That's maybe too much. 3. Make a 2 out of that. Yeah, I think that's fine. And what we're going to do, let's see if we can copy this over and just Control Z. Control V. No, okay. So we cannot copy this. This is why, well, yeah, that's stupid. So let's make another collision here. Collision. Fix it up. And let's compare this. We have this thing here going on. We have definitely mesh in here. Collision. I don't know, colliding with us. They're kind of colliding with us actually. Or with the collider sticking on us. Now you see, I think they might actually be all a bit small here. Yeah. We go away, they're just way too small for my taste. Doesn't matter if it's realistic or not, it's just too small for my taste. So I'm going over here, particle initialize. And here we have the mesh with a float, uniform range float, so they are like varying. I'm going to make a 3 out of that, and that out of that, yeah, 4. And we just see how this looks like. 3 and 4, same for all of them. So here, 3 and 4, 3, 3 and 4. I'm on purpose going a bit overkill here, or what I think it is. The thing is that the size also determines how fast they fall, and how they react to the wind and whatnot. So by changing the size, everything changes. And well, I think those are too big anyway. So also feel like, let's just turn off the wind stuff here really quick. Yeah, the wind might actually be a bit overkill. I kind of like it better without the wind. So maybe we should just make it very soft, the wind. Cherry blossom wind. Instead of a 10, we're going to make a 1 and see how it looks very soft. So also need to turn them on again, by the way. Because there's a lot going on here with the wind. Okay, and I'm going to press apply now on this cherry blossom material where I put it to 1. And we're going to see the difference. Not a cherry blossom now. Soft. It's just like a hint. But it's kind of grayish. So I'm going to make this actually a 10 again. Because this will make it white. But here I'm going to correct here a bit. This should overall make it smaller if we are just going to reviewing here. We're going to subtract like a 0.3. In theory, it should make it smaller or bigger, okay, than minus 0.3. Like adding, yeah, that makes more sense. Adding a bit. Okay, it was too much. So I don't want a minus 0.3 in here. I want like a well, minus 3, what the heck? Minus 0.3. Let's see. Much. Like a minus 0.1. 0.5. When are we going to see something? Now we see something there. And I just want to like very slightly subtract something. Looking fine, I guess. I mean, it's kind of up to what you want. So I'm gonna leave this up to you if you want to turn it on or off, I guess. And another thing, we still have, if we go over here, particles in our main particles. Under, where is it actually? I think it was somewhere completely, type it in. Motion. And we have somewhere, it should be marked, but it doesn't want to there, motion blur. And since we have the wind, which kind of acts like motion blur, I don't actually want motion blur. Let's just turn this on all of them. Motion blur is most times just a horrible thing. Since you have natural motion blur going on by things moving fast. A bit clearer, yeah. Now it's already a bit clearer. Not as whooshy anymore. This is for the people who bought my last course, at least at the point of uploading this video here. I'm going to make an outline for my thingies here. So if you bought the course, well, you can follow anyway, but there will be a part that I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to press here render, and I'm going to add another mesh renderer. And I'm going to put in the same mesh I have over here, which is cherry blossom 1. Cherry blossom 1. And let's see, we are going to override material, add, and I'm going to add a material here, and which is going to be my outline material. So put this on here. The outline gets deformed differently than the inside. This is coming from the cherry blossom material. Actually, the outline doesn't get deformed. So it's kind of the outlines fold here, basically. What we have to do is add this here to our outline. And we're going to grab the outline we have. Material. Like I said, this outline you only have if you like bought the course. I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm calling this particle outline underscore outline. And I'm going to move this over to my Niagara test. And I'm going to open this now. Particle outline. And particle. You probably have something in the world position offset already, right? If you have this outline material that you made in the course. Check the link in the description, by the way, if you're interested to learn nodes and how to convert them from Blender to Unreal. You probably have something already in there, like we have a multiply over here. Last thing is probably a multiply or something, it doesn't really matter. And you're just going to plug this multiply into an add, and then your deform, which you copied from the cherry blossom here, you're going to plug this into an add, and this add in here. And you hit apply. And it's compiling for a second, and you can see it's working. Pretty neat, actually. And then we can close that. And depending if you made it adjustable or not, I'm going to make an instance of that. And yeah, keep it like this. And I'm going to replace in here outline material with this instance. Now I can open this instance. And I should be able to adjust this a bit. Like in, I think my default value here is like, should be 200. You probably don't have that. It doesn't matter. All this really does is adjusting my outline, and if you know how to do parameters, you should be able to adjust your outline as well. Yeah, and there we go. Oh, we have a nice, tidy outline on our mesh here. And I am going to do also a cell shader on my leaves. Yeah, a lot of them have it on there because we need to go to our particle settings over here. Here we need, actually all of them. I accidentally dragged into minus, like a 0.1. 0.1. Yeah, maybe a bit less. 0.05. I just wanted very slight. I know why. Okay, I have to. Doesn't matter for you. I have to rework my outline thing here because yeah, something is broken. Doesn't matter. Either way, to have it on the other ones as well, we have to go over here, turn on here. Add a mesh renderer, cherry blossom 2, and I'm going to make sure I have my particle instance selected, and I can just on here, and we have it in there. Let's just trust that it's going to work. It's on here, and we need another renderer here, mesh renderer, and cherry blossom 3, and override material. Now all of our outlines should have all of our cherries should have an outline. Yeah, I think this is done with that. All I'm going to do is implement my cell shader here to the leaves as well, because right now they don't have any shading. Yeah, adding my cell shader to that, and eventually at some point I'm going to create a course about Unreal 4 cell shader, how I'm creating my cell shader, because it's actually kind of special. Trying to show off here, but it kind of is. If you don't know why, just look my devlog videos on this character here. You'll eventually understand why. I'm really not happy about the collision. Maybe I can work this out at a later point. I'm going to end this here.